Most business owners think they're protected because nothing feels wrong right now. The business is running, revenue is coming, employees are getting paid, everything looks stable. And honestly, that's exactly how most successful businesses look. But I've seen families go from everything is fine to we've got a serious problem in a very short period of time. Not because the owner made a bad decision, not because they didn't care, but because 5 quiet risks were building underneath the surface and nobody saw them coming. If you're a business owner who spent years building something meaningful and you want to make sure it's protected, you're in the right place. And in this video, I want to walk through 5 of the biggest risks I see successful business owners overlook long before they realize there's a problem. One of the interesting things about working with successful business owners is this. The biggest problems are usually not the obvious ones. If there's a major issue with the business, you know it. Revenue's down, customers are leaving, the company's struggling. But those things get attention. And the risks I want to talk about today are different. They often stay invisible for years. The business continues operating. The owner continues building. Everything feels normal until something changes. Maybe it's an unexpected death, a disability, a partnership issue, a major tax event, a family transition, and suddenly a risk that seemed theoretical actually becomes very real. And that's why these risks matter. Not because something is wrong today, but because successful owners need to prepare before they're forced to. Let me continue with the example of my guy John from the last video. John had built a very successful business. He'd done a lot of things right. He had a great company, good employees, strong customer relationships, a valuable asset he could be proud of. And like many successful owners, John was focused on the right things, growing the business, taking care of people, creating opportunities. But as we started looking deeper, we discovered something really important. The same success that created value also created some complexity. And there were 5 areas where John, like many owners, had potential exposure. The first risk is a lack of liquidity. And this is one of the biggest misunderstandings I see. Many successful business owners have significant wealth, but much of that wealth is tied up. It's in the business. It's in the real estate related to that business. It does exist on paper and it is real, but if something unexpected happens, the question becomes, how quickly can you access cash? Because suddenly the family may be dealing with estate taxes, business expenses, debt obligations coming due, a buyout obligation, or simply the need to replace the income the owner provided. And the challenge is this. The business itself may be very valuable, but it might not be easy to turn that value into cash quickly. A valuable business is not automatically a liquid business, and that distinction matters. Risk number 2 is this, owner dependency, and this one is very common. In many businesses, the owner is more than just the owner. The owner is the person employees go to for decisions, the person customers trust most, the person who drives relationships and understands the big picture and strategy, the person who knows how everything works, and that can be very normal. But that's often how great businesses are built, and it creates some risk. Because if the owner suddenly disappears, the business can slow down immediately and sometimes dramatically. Often, nobody really realizes how dependent the company is on that one person until they're no longer there. So a strong business needs to depend not entirely on one individual, not because the owner is invaluable. The owner is usually the most valuable person in the company, but because a great business should be able to continue beyond one person. Now, risk number 3 is this, outdated planning documents. And honestly, this is everywhere. Many business owners have documents, but the question is, do those documents still reflect reality? Because businesses change, their value changes, ownership changes, family dynamics change, relationships change, but the documents often stay the same. I've seen agreements that were created years earlier that no longer fit the business today. Maybe the valuation methodology is outdated. Maybe ownership dynamics have changed. Maybe funding was never really addressed. Maybe the agreement was written for a company that no longer exists. And the problem is that nobody usually discovers those issues when things are going well. They discover them when the documents actually need to work. And that's the worst possible time to find out there's a problem in that document. The fourth risk is this: the absence of a real succession plan. And succession is oftentimes misunderstood. People think succession is simply who gets the business, but that's just one little piece. The bigger question is who leads the company? Who makes decisions? Who do employees trust? Who do customers trust? Who do vendors trust? Especially in family businesses, this becomes complicated because now you have ownership, leadership, family relationships, financial expectations, all coming together at the same time. And when those conversations haven't happened before there's pressure, problems become much harder to solve. Good succession planning creates clarity before there is uncertainty. Now, risk number 5. The fifth risk is fragmented planning. And this one's more common than most people think. A business owner may have excellent advisors, a great attorney, a great CPA, trusted financial advisor, an insurance professional they like. The problem is not the quality of the advisors. The problem is that everyone may only be looking at their little piece of the puzzle. The attorney is focused on the legal structure. The CPA is looking at the taxes. The financial advisor is focused on the investments. The insurance advisor is focused on risk coverage. But who's looking at the entire picture? Because your business, your family, your taxes, your estate, your future are not separate issues. They're all connected. And when the pieces aren't coordinated, gaps appear. Those gaps are where problems live. So when you look at these 5 risks, there is a common theme. Successful owners usually do not have these issues because they're careless. They have them because success creates complexity. The business grows, the family changes, the assets grow, decisions become more important, and eventually you need a plan that grows with you. So the goal is not to create fear. The goal is to create confidence, because the best time to solve these problems is when you still have choices. If you're listening to this and thinking, there may be areas I haven't really thought through clearly, that's a very common place for successful business owners to be. You spend your time building the business, leading people, solving problems, moving forward. You don't spend every day thinking about succession, liquidity, ownership, and estate planning. And that's why I encourage business owners to step back and get a clear picture of where they stand. If you'd like to talk through your situation, I invite you to schedule a free 15-minute strategy call with me. To do that, go to hopewellconsult.com. You'll answer a few quick questions so we can make sure we're a good fit. And if it looks like I can help, you'll be able to schedule a time directly with me. I'm on a mission to empower serious business owners to make great decisions about their legacy. Build it, protect it, pass it on.